They can be in this at any moment. They just gotta up their mental game, let their talent speak.
Amazing placement. What a shot.
A Yahtzee overhead.
Aspect of mental toughness here that's just different.
I like the body language of all four players.
Oh, look at that shot! Great hands from Kiro.
Hello and welcome to the 2023-24 APTA Tour presented by Volley. We are live from Huntington Country Club in Huntington, New York, bringing you the Dwayne Hayden Invitational, which is the seventh stop on the 2023-24 APTA Tour, with live streaming brought to you by the APT membership, the APTA national sponsors Volley and Fusion. I'm Matt Garvalia, and along with Guy Moore, we're bringing you the men's quarterfinal match between Humphreys, Osses-Konig, and Protsenko and Volclair. Mr. Moore, take it away.
Matt, great to be with you. Looks like the weather up there is fantastic. This is going to be a great matchup. Once my screen pulls back, let me introduce the players real quick. Closest to me on the right, you got Louis Volclair. On the opposite side in the red, Louis Volclair's wearing a gray top there. On the opposite side to the far left is Chris Humphreys, director at the Short Hills Club in Jersey. His partner, Felipe Osses-Konig, at the net. And then to our left in the black shirt, Anton Protsenko. Here we go, Matt.
It has been a really warm day out here, so it's been a fun day of watching a lot of matches, and looking forward to another match here where a lot of strategy early to see what's going on. All four players obviously here are not just great players, but they all have a lot of offensive talent. And we'll be going for a lot of fun shots and making it for a fun afternoon of paddle to watch.
I think it's interesting too. You watch these first couple of points, and the players play their way into a match, but they also some type of net scheme that they're going to start out with. So this one looks like it's Chris Humphreys hitting a few more of the overheads early on here. Yeah, even there you can see.
Yeah, no, I think you're correct. I mean, we all know feeling is not just feeling yourself, but it's finding out what can go and what's going to go. And they've all played each other, a few times in their lives, so they want to see, the nerves that certain players are going to bring. And and it's been matches like this because one team over there at the net is going to be trying to do as much fun stuff as they can, because they're not going to sit back and just play the soft middle game the whole time. All four of them have a lot of action on their ball, making it a fun afternoon of watching these guys going being more aggressive than some of the other matches you might see later today.
Yeah, and it looks like nice spin ball there, but let's kind of see where this goes. With I know it's a third point, but it looks like they're both kind of hanging back toward the service line, mixing up their overheads to start this match.
Yeah.
Which a lefty righty have a nice advantage anyways, because they can always play in a stagger. Because there's always a forehand overhead once they've switched.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think the biggest thing out here too is they early in the match is to see how your opponents are going to drive that ball when it is a little it is a little warmer out there, and trying to get those guys to bait them a little bit to try to drive. Don't let them don't want to be out there for 6 hours if you don't have to be. So try to, and these guys volley so well.
Couple loose mistakes in that first game with Anton and Protsenko and Louis Volclair. They'll tighten that up.
Yeah.
And Anton, I think they had no intention of coming in there observing ball.
No, and not even just that. He was, they were, floating it in there, not giving anything away. and Volclair just able to still play in that middle of the court. As I said, it is a little warmer out than you would think here in December, and but a little harder to nerves might be all the way of how hard you can hit a return off a soft serve too early.
I think what you'll start to see too is Osses-Konig, he loves the transition game. He'll start becoming more vertical. Sure.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. And the biggest thing in this match is the team that can, redline it a little bit, get it going a little faster, but then win during that point, going back to the slower pace. Both these teams 2 years ago would have been like only lob or only drives. Now they're played well enough, great overhead that they.
And there's, they're perfect example of what I was just saying. I mean, look for him to do a lot of that.
Yes.
He's not going to drive a ball and then fall back into lob recovery. He's going to drive a ball looking to keep coming forward, just like that point. Here he is again. And that's what Chris and Felipe do well.
Yes, and they do a great job. And obviously they, Felipe, it doesn't look like he missed a workout in the last few years, so he'll be out there running and grinding away, and he doesn't mind running all over that court. It looks like Protsenko and Volclair, they don't really mind so far early in the match, just saying, hey, we'll play in the backcourt more. As much offense as those two have on, from the net, they don't mind that if they're serving like that and staying back a lot. They're,
Well, you know what it eliminates? It eliminates what Osses-Konig does best.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
vertical movement. So, and I think a lot of us forget that all the offense in the game comes from the baseline anyways. I mean, obviously, the spin kill and whatnot is an important shot, but
right. But is it?
But
I remember,
the offense comes from the baseline.
Yeah, I remember watching Mr. Moore and Mr. Broderick playing some great matches from the baseline. One of the first teams to play double back most of the time and not go to the net as much, and really show other teams that you don't need to be there.
Yeah, I remember those days. I remember everyone questioning it.
But it's interesting. It is funny. It's like, you first start playing this game of platform, it's like, yes, and that's the best place to be, because the other, once your opponents know how to hit a screen, it's not.
That's right. Notice, believe Osses-Konig, it's going to be a drive. He is just hanging on the net like that. That ball has got to be a lob. There it is. Good ball, he was there.
And I said, it is a little bouncy out there. I mean, the balls are flying a little bit, so it's going to be harder to control some of those shots. Nice return.
Yeah, Protsenko,
normally Protsenko likes to be very aggressive and hit some big forehands and stuff, so he doesn't mind.
Yeah. Well, you got to look at it too, and you got to say to yourself, hey, where's the strongest and weakest part of my game? I mean, the first volley and paddle, if you're going to come in, is always going to be the toughest shot in the game. There's no doubt about it. But he's eliminating that, and with his big weapons from the baseline, he's giving himself and his team. That's what Osses-Konig is going to do.
And you can see also, like, it's just a little bit different body language that looks out there, almost like Volclair and going like playing his little way into it, where Humphreys and Osses-Konig look like they're looking like it's like match point already on the first point. Getting ready.
Well, they're playing their rhythm. These first two games are the match that they want to play.
Yes.
Good ball, great drive, great location by Volclair. Like that a lot. Osses-Konig, when he's on the net, he's just so low already, and
you gets way out of the way. I mean, you know, again, obviously being in such great shape and everything, you can just, you know, get back and, hey, right, having that lefty, you know that guy, you played with a lefty bunch, having that lefty makes it so much easier to get on the net on that right-hand side when you're on the left-hand side compared to playing with two righties.
Absolutely. Such a huge advantage. Good ball by Protsenko.
Good drive. Good
Humphreys
discipline.
coming there. I like that.
Yeah, good discipline there by, by Humphreys not taking that volley, not trying to shoestring shot early in the match to try,
Well, as the games become more vertical and transition such an important part, everyone knows what to let go now, too. They make the move and they know their partner's going to cover them.
Oh, bad luck.
Yeah.
And it sounds like an overrule.
Sorry, guys.
It was hard to see that one.
I can't totally tell. I mean,
Let's see if these guys switch back quickly or stay.
no, the thing that these players also know is, not only is every point kind of, matters and this and playing the score is, winner of this match is in the semifinals, where you gotta have, don't say conserve energy and wait for that, but at the same time you want to sit there and you don't want to waste energy and do stupid stuff, and it's not their last match of the day, that's for sure.
It's a good game for Volclair and Protsenko.
Got it.
Even though it's very early in the match, you don't want to go down 3-love and.
No. But you're right. It is amazing. They have one let court go. It could have been 15-all. The let court happens to go out. Next thing you know, it's 2-1. And that's just the thing about this game. It's the momentum shifts just a little bit here during a game, during one point, and it goes from there.
Yeah, speaking of momentum shifts, what an excellent ladies final we had earlier today. And I tell you what a momentum shift in that third set.
It's so much fun watching watching it now, and seeing the transition of everybody in the women's and men's games be able to change on the fly. I think part of it has to do is they get to see each other more now, and they understand the game a lot better. And post, with watching yourself on after a match like this, being able to go back and watch and grind, Guy, you're a big student of the game. You know a lot of these guys too. I like being able to watch them, and you can, knowing that if you and I had to go play them, is what to do, because we, you can see what they're doing, but people are making in-game adjustments so well nowadays.
Yeah, that's a good point. Holding it down. Yep. I like the pace of those overheads.
Oh, it's great.
Protsenko. The other thing about those overheads too is they're such big neutralizers because they are staying so low. Even if they're a little short, they stay low. That last miss you saw there from Chris Humphreys, I mean, that's a neutral drive. If he's going to drive that, he's got to be looking to lob the next ball. It's just too low to go for anything big.
And the other thing about it too is you're just tempting them. Nobody wants to hit 65 overheads per point. They'd still rather have you driving. So you're just tempting them, driving on your terms, not driving on their terms. So hopefully that 2 very quick points.
Yeah, Volclair likes to play fast. I tell you what, in 2 different serves too. The underhand here again.
There we go. I mean, it was. I think we were just talking. We were just talking at foot.
Too fast.
Oh wait, but yes, that's the thing. You Louis, he's got this talent. He's got to slow it down now. Yeah.
Volclair is playing this game like he's got somewhere to go.
He's like, yeah, you know, I have a, you know.
Better slow down. And this pace at this point is Volclair well.
Well, no, that's exactly what, you know, Humphreys and Osses-Konig want. They want I mean, obviously everybody would love a free point, but you want them to go fast because it plays into their transitions and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden you grind and get big points like that and hit a couple faults and you rush it. And the more you rush, you know, the harder it is in this game.
It's so interesting too. Nice shot, yeah.
As I said, it was just 40-15 and now it's 3-1.
Yeah.
So you said you're right. Volclair looked like he was, you know, Humphreys looks like he's trying to give it back to him now.
It's still very true that most paddle points still end within the first 3 shots. You know, either a fault, a missed volley, or a missed return. We saw that in the last game for sure.
Yep.
Big backhand, great volley there.
Yep.
That's a
Chris Humphreys, what a great ball.
But you know, it's like when moment he hit that overhead, he just moved there, knowing that Volclair was not going to lob that ball, and just took it away. Oh, nice.
God. Wow. Protsenko all over it. Nicely done.
Very nice. Good job not just getting there, but getting ready for that next shot right after.
I like that lob from Volclair.
Yeah, it's a, you know, I don't know. The one thing that you got to ask, you need to ask Volclair and Protsenko is what their thought process is. Who do they want to bring more offense to? Because if they're trying to, you know, it seems like they just, you know, they're not lobbing as much with a purpose. It's just hitting lobs. Instead of saying, oh, we want to set up Protsenko or we want to set up Louis, they need to figure that out a little bit more early.
And these guys just had a huge match in their last round, 7-6 in the third, correct? Yeah, they had a long.
Not only was it a 7-6 in the third match after losing the first set and coming back, and it's just meant that you just don't know. Physically, you know that they're going to be okay. You just don't know how mentally they're going to be. Hopefully they can mentally slow down enough to get this match going a little bit. Yep.
You can see Chris Humphreys sliding off to his right there. The overhead, so they're have a little bit more of a definitive net scheme right now.
Yep, and then also Volclair and Protsenko started hitting a little bit more lobs so that he get a little bit more action going and waiting for the Volclair forehand at the end. And if you notice, guy. One of the big things, it seems like both teams when they're serving, like when the baseline, they've been very calm, very waiting, hitting their drives, great. But at the net, they've been a little bit different. All right. Yep. All right. Volley is a proud sponsor of the APTA. As the first AI-enabled training experience, Volley modernized racket sports by delivering on-demand dynamic system for live playing, training, and better workouts. Volley creates a community to connect pros and players while giving users personalized performance, insights to track progress, and customize their practices. Ask your pro about Volley and lessons today. For more information, get volley.com.
This is a big game right here, Matt.
Oh.
Now, I tell you what, since those first two games, Volclair and Protsenko have done a good job of keeping Osses-Konig back on the screens, keeping his back to the wires, not letting him do what he does best.
I think the biggest thing has been, but the big thing too has been the serving has been, it's been very, it's, as you said, suspect. Like Volclair happened to rush his serve a few times, and next thing you know, they lost their game. And obviously, Protsenko has no care about, he's just getting into the point. And Humphreys usually has a pretty good serve. That last game, faulted two or a couple times, and it's just, it's a momentum killer.
Yeah, I think all of these guys just need to slow down a little bit when they're serving.
Yes, I hear you exactly. And once the points get going, they're playing great points.
Yeah, I think the serves that have been missed, it's just a little bit rushed. It's easy to get in that mode too, and you don't even know it when it's going on.
Oh, I said I've never lost a match being on the mic. Might have lost a few matches during off the mic, but never on the mic. It's easier to say for us, and but yeah, it definitely like this point here is a great point, right? Boom, good volleys.
You got to remember, yeah. You got to remember too, it's coming back after a little bit of lunch and whatnot. It takes a few games, 20 minutes to get back into it again. You don't want to.
First match after lunch is always the hardest one. They always would say. It's part, not just bodies. Your third match of the day. Right? Even if you didn't play long matches, it's still being out there and that's the one they gotta, that's like the mental errors, the short ones that you're not even going for, just making it through.
Matt, what do you think about Protsenko serving and Chris Humphreys even being at the net?
The biggest thing is, it wouldn't be a bad thing. It is a little tougher having, Volclair, staying there. It makes it a little harder, but depending on how it would be smart for those guys to mix it up a little bit, maybe even take a drive down the line instead of always just going cross court, making them so then it keeps them there a little bit. It's interesting. It's watching. It's like I understand that Protsenko doesn't want to fault, so he's just getting it in. But he's also after hitting his serve, he's not moving anywhere like in a better. So that's a great volley. But he's not moving anywhere. He's just standing there waiting to see what they do instead of setting up. He's got such a big game from the backcourt. Maybe if he hits that little serve and then sets up that forehand, it would put way more pressure on those two to do something besides being able to rip a ball into the corner and no pressure.
Well, I almost just feel like they both should just stay back. Just both stay back, get into a good base game and go from there. Because Chris Humphreys isn't touching a lot of balls, and then they get organized in the backcourt.
Oh, that's a big point there. Yeah, get down, get the first 2 points, and then get a little rush there. As you said, it looks like sometimes Louis needs to, he's getting ready to go somewhere before
When win or lose, when this match is over, I'm going to ask him. Wait, if he wins it, he can't go far. He's got to play the semis.
Well, they got that's a little, It seems like, every time a team's getting up, every time a team is, getting up a little bit, the other, it's like no one can sustain, even though they're up 4-2, no one's sustaining anything. It's just been a lot.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it, right?
Yeah, it's not like, we're up 4-2, let's really get this game to go up 5-2. It's kind of like, we have a chance, let's just go for a ball.
Yeah, I think you couldn't be more right. Both teams are playing that way.
And it's interesting. It's it's definitely not the way we have taught this game a few times in our life. We always tell them to look for the right ideas and right shots, but it's not even people. Oh, it's got to play to the score. No, it's not playing to the score. But sometimes it's just some of these guys are just they're looking for so much offense sometimes instead of just slowing it down. Because I think slowing it down sometimes does obviously it takes a toll on your opponents too.
Well, you know what you're seeing too, Matt, is so far from what we're saying now and what we're watching, it's almost a good mess. Like both of these teams are playing and just anticipating and moving.
Mm-hmm.
The ball's moving side to side. We're not playing one particular net scheme. Interesting.
Yes,
And that's why there is all these momentum shifts, because maybe there isn't this consistent scheme at the net or baseline from either team. I mean, I'm not saying good or bad, but
No.
it's going to look like this.
It's not good or bad. It is what it is. I mean, it's good. What you're talking about is true. It's not like it's it's as you said, you played with one of the most cerebral guys out there in Drew and Broderick, and he'll stick to his gun plan no matter what until they have to change. These guys' gun plan looks like, hey, let's just look when we find it, let's go for it. There's not like, oh, this is bad luck. Bad luck, but it's guys are serving, staying back. They're doing this. Overheads are going both spots. Not so guys are missing dry. It's definitely a a little bit of a looser beginning and stuff, and now it's so it's, but it does make all four as you said, all four of these players are doing it. It's not like one team's only doing one thing and the other team's predicting everything. It's and they play each other a few times a year, and they know each other's games, and they all have the racket skill to make it happen. So it'd be interesting to see. It'd almost be interesting to get in their brain for a game to say, what were you guys thinking here? And like, oh, we're just hitting shots and looking instead of precisely saying, oh, we're only going to pick on so and so.
I think if you did get into their head a little bit and ask them, I mean, it would be very similar to what we're seeing. I mean,
Right.
I think at points they're playing really productive and logical purpose. I mean, this is a great point here.
Right. And it's like
so-
it's like, okay, we played Osses-Konig 3 times in his corner. Now let's go over to Humphreys' corner. I know Mike Rowley, very well, used to say one of his favorite things to do playing a righty-lefty was play in the middle even more in the beginning, just to see how they react and who wants to hit their forehands even more. Because it's not a lot of angle from that middle of that court, but it's definitely not as as fun as hitting the spin shots into the corners.
Yeah, this is probably one of the longest points in the match right here. We haven't seen many of these, but
no, but it's also very good for the when you're the quote the thing I used to ask a lot of players is, would you rather hit 40 lobs or 40 overheads? And almost everyone originally says 40 overheads until they actually had to try it once.
Louis Volclair and Anton Protsenko doing a good job again of keeping Osses-Konig from back there.
Yeah. That's a great overhead there. That great overheads again. Nice drive off. But I also has given this much. The one thing that I will say all four of these players do super well, that you can't teach. You just have to do is they get whoever's not hitting the overhead is getting close enough to that net, and they're jamming it. So if somebody does drive, somebody's usually right there.
Well, and I also think the reason you're seeing a long point like this is that there was a good net scheme. Everyone was doing their job. Protsenko hitting the volleys, Volclair hitting the overheads, transition there.
Well, now all of a sudden, Volclair and Protsenko switch sides again. So this is the first point that we've had the net team of Protsenko and Volclair switch. So Volclair back in the middle, hitting most of the overheads from the left-hand side, where every point so far has been no matter where they're at, they're just staying. So, I think this is this is a very productive, win or lose is the productive point for you. Obviously, you don't want to lose it, but, it's going to be a productive point for these guys knowing what they're going to do. And as you said, Protsenko can maybe hit a few more rolling over. Ooh, great pickup.
Well, remember, too, the less the net team moves, the stronger they are.
Oh, yes.
So, and they just wore them out there. That's not a ball that Osses-Konig wanted to drive. He was just tired of hitting screens.
It's also is amazing, but it is. I mean, he had some great drives, and they had some great drives. But these guys volley so well, and they're but their volley. If you watched their paddles, they were not moving one bit when they got driven at.
Let's see if they switch here. See if they got a plan. What do you think, Matt?
I liked their switch earlier because it gave them
But this just goes to what you and I are saying is maybe they don't have a definitive net scheme yet. I like Volclair hitting overheads and Protsenko on the net.
Yeah, and plus I think Protsenko he's obviously got so much talent and stuff, but he's Louis if you had to choose out of the two, Volclair is the swifter mover. Ooh. But that was a big game. That was a very big. They look at them talking in between points and stuff, which is, as you said, the first 3 or 4 games, as good as some of the points were, they were in between points. Took them about 13 seconds.
All right.
That's the one. That's the ball. Even if he makes it, what's going to happen next? He actually might get drop shot out of the next shot.
There's no doubt. You ask yourself, is it a technical or a tactical error? That's 100% tactical.
Right.
Because Humphreys was hanging on the net. And you're right, it's going to be a drop volley, and that's it.
Right. Well, that's a good move there. But yeah, now transition.
Yep.
Now we slow it back down, see if they're smart, but again, why you got, everyone's like, well, you got the guys off the net, I got to go for more. It's not tennis where, you have them off the net and just go for a bigger overhead. Sometimes you got them off the net in a bad spot, that's where you want to dump it. Because these guys are such good players in transition that they're looking for offense even if they're scrambling back. Sometimes, you're like, oh, I want to, when you're playing playing players like myself nowadays, you can get that offense no problem, and I'll still try, and that's something I shouldn't be doing. But now it's like, be smart, lob it back up, or play it soft in that middle.
Yeah.
There it is, the drop shot volley.
Yes. I mean, you can see Osses-Konig, as soon as he sees Louis' hands go high, he's all over the net. Right there. He's right there. And that ball that Louis Volclair hit isn't that easy. It's got a lot of spin and cut on it, but
right. But where was he too? He was literally on the back.
Watch.
And now it's like, and there it is. And that's the thing. Like Protsenko there makes an amazing shot, but instead of lobbing it up, maybe trying to slow it down, he sees a small edge and like, oh, let's still try to go for the dink, forehand.
I think it's as simple as, from a game plan perspective, you have Osses-Konig hanging on the net. He never gets to hit a volley. He's only get to hit. He's got to look up.
Well, you also have to look, as you said, what happened in the last game. I mean, it was besides this, as you said, besides those couple games with the serve faults, every game that Volclair, they're winning most of the time. They're winning some of the longer points. So there's no reason, for these guys to try as much offense as early.
Good ball, good point.
Yeah.
Another quick game so far here.
All right, this is the big point here, though, as And that's the 40 love return. Let's go for it.
And too, Matt. We switch sides here. You know, regardless of what happens in the set, it's a matter of making them work for it, even if they're up 40 love, because that momentum might take a couple games to change.
Right.
So
no, it's you're correct. It's the setup stuff, right? It's the that's the hey, we had a long match before it, love 40, let's go for it. And you know, you know, it's the sometimes it's the old theory of we'd rather have someone hit you one time or kick you 1,000 times soft. It's that sometimes you just gotta grind them away. You've noticed so more than anybody in this sport. It's not. I mean, it's you can figure out ways of winning matches by playing ugly in this sport more than anything.
let's see if Protsenko and Volclair stick with this scheme of net. I think they should. I like it a lot.
Yeah,
See?
and I think
We
you're
talk-
right. It was interesting. Look how they just to get back to 4-all, they had a massive grind game, right? And they did everything right in the game to go back to 4-all, and then all of a sudden they're like played a couple fast points again, and next thing you know, it's like boom. It's like all right, now it's love 15 because they were going nice and slow and go one fast shot, and boom.
Well, it goes back to the basics. I tell you right now, with Volclair and Protsenko, as great as they are, that last point was won because of lobbing to the gray area and not being sure who's going to hit the overheads. If you know who's going to hit the overhead, Protsenko slides right, Louis Volclair hits it, and we don't have that.
Correct. No, you're totally correct. That it is not just obviously it's a very good lob to create confusion. However, the one thing you've noticed about it is righty, not even just righty lefty, but for the Humphreys, Osses-Konig, they have never had any lob that's gone up. They've never really had anywhere come close to anyone hitting each other or whose ball is it. Where Volclair and Protsenko have had a few of those, and then
Great lob by Osses-Konig.
but the best thing about that is Protsenko, you right away, like they're communicating, and that's the big thing. The more they can communicate with it, the better. The quicker they have, the quicker use the most underlying. I think Volclair is trying to get Protsenko to switch over here.
If they got to be on the same page. Mm-hmm. Notice too in that last when Osses-Konig were at the net last, Chris Humphreys hit the ball over to the deuce side, and then the next ball he hit, he took to the ad side, and then let Osses-Konig resume hitting overhead. So he kept them honest, and then he moved the ball back to their net scheme.
Yeah. Look how quick he is.
That's it. That is the denominator in this match so far. How much can he move vertically and do exactly that? That is their game plan all day long. And unless Volclair and Protsenko come up with a net scheme and identify who's going to hit the overheads, he's going to stick in and do that quite a bit.
I think that's what Volclair is trying to, Volclair trying to talk to Protsenko now, which would be amazing and great if they could get himself into, I think,
They're just gonna they're gonna get stung. I mean that's
But as you
going
said,
to happen.
when you had like this matchup right here, where you had Protsenko on the right, and you had Volclair on the left. They had and there's no communication there. Like Protsenko's got to tell him that he's coming. I mean, that was just because if he tells him a little bit of heads up, like pretty much guaranteed Mr. Humphreys might get pegged there.
Well, you're right, but let's just go back to the basics again. They're still discussing who's hitting overheads.
Yep.
So there's still some confusion. There's still some indecision, and that doesn't happen at this level. What just happened?
No. No, I mean that's look at where you. One of the things you teach a lot too is you got to look where your opponents are looking. If your opponent's not, oh, great hands.
Up, up, up! Guys, slow down.
But if you gotta, you gotta be discussing that even before the points of what's going on and stuff like that. Not just during the point, but even as you said, have a game plan of what to do. As you were talking to me before, you were talking to Broderick and Christian about what their game plan's gonna be for their match. And that could,
Great shot there.
great shot, nice try. And,
See if these guys can make them fight for the game.
You got it. You got it. I got it.
Good switch there, but.
I love that.
You got it.
Give him a different look.
Oh, there it is. That's much.
I like that.
No. Oh, nice get.
Wow.
There.
Wow.
You know what set up that shot wasn't the
That lob.
exactly that lob set that shot up, because the shot before, if he would have done it, would have lost that point. But he got that lob up. Then the next point when he was moving back in, and instead of just hitting, instead of hitting a drop shot standing still, he was moving forward to hit the drop shot, which is triple set point to deuce. This is this should obviously be a nice little, comeback point here to get at least get a hold point here. Yep. Great
Right.
by Volclair. Because now all of a sudden he's at 40 love, it's a much different point here.
Wow, what a
That's a kill.
great shot from Protsenko.
But
Wow.
but what side did he hit it from? He hit it from the right side, which is
Yeah,
exactly
that's
where.
right.
If you and I were coaching him, you're telling him you guys gotta switch at that net. But that's again, good move though. Osses-Konig just so quick and lighting and.
Switching in the backcourt, good.
This set could have been over if Volclair would have tried to driven that one ball. He hit one little extra lob there, and because of that, now they have a chance to. Oh, great get, great over. They have a chance to make it 5-all.
And I love that from Volclair. He learned from the last time when he drove it. But you know what? Good and bad in that. I mean, he set it up for the next time. It was a big point to lob that ball.
Oh, especially if you're. Yes. Come on! Wow. That was a pretty big, massive comeback there.
Sure was.
Now here this could be, so far you got as you said, you're in the right spots here, and here it comes. And the best part about that cut overhead there was, that cut overhead. Yeah. That cut over is not just beautiful shot, but it was disguised. You couldn't tell that he was going to try it there.
No, he held that, but I love him to the right of Volclair.
Now you can feel it out there, even though not out there. You can feel the little bit of momentum shift. All of a sudden, Volclair blitzes on the first point, right? And Protsenko, yep. And now, to see if these guys can go back to their slowing it down just enough, right?
It's interesting too because you're kind of making a good point that Volclair, playing him a few times, he's a really good front runner, and he can do some of those things. Starts to get more aggressive and moving vertically, and
this is the time where I think Humphreys not there. It's smart. This could be the smartest thing they've done in a while. You take a break for 2 seconds, Slow it down just enough that, you know, look for a great volley.
Good switch back there.
Mm-hmm.
See if Louis Volclair tries to make a little vertical move here at some point.
That's a great lob there. You know, the problem is some of these times is these guys all have so much racket skill that it's not easy not being an alpha during a point.
For sure.
You know.
And that's really been the story of the match. I mean, with all four players. I mean, they're all so talented that they want touches and they're getting touches. And
yeah,
that's why you've seen so many momentum shifts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. It's you know. You know, and then all of a sudden they had a. Oh. But it's amazing too how fast some like Volclair and Osses-Konig they just. Wow.
Great move.
He read that one at 30 all, 5-5, 30 all. That's a high risk, high reward. And here we go, right? But again, sometimes it has to do with the player. That's the one thing, I mean, it feels a little bit more, you know, not something, you know, the communication needs to be like, hey, you know, you're playing a player like Osses-Konig who loves to not just blitz, but move forward. You know, you need to help your partner by not watching him hit, by looking forward, looking at seeing what he's doing, and give him a little clue, a hint, something. There you go. First time they said anything, and look what happens. Now they're in control a little bit more.
See if they switch back here or stay. It's not bad either way. I mean, they're giving them a different look, but
no, exactly. Lefties in the ad are not a bad thing to have.
Chris loves his backhand. Just about to say, I mean,
it's a right shot to hit there. You know, he's a little maybe a tad off bounds, but it was, you know, he looked for it early enough. He knew what he wanted.
You got it. You got it. You got it.
It's almost in spurts how they go into. It just depends on the point who's hitting overheads.
Mm-hmm. Again, it's that you're right. It's just not as it's the hey, you know, it's like almost to the point where there's a lot of trust in your partner, which is obviously great, but it's not that he can do it, but it doesn't give you that rhythm too that you might want to have. It's just good move and.
Well, and that's what it's all about, is controlling tempo. So, I mean, again, everyone out here is so talented that you're going to see some really fun, amazing points, but not the rhythm or the discipline from a scheme perspective. But maybe that is their scheme. It's just, hey, if you're feeling it, you hit balls, and if I am, I'll hit balls. That's what we're seeing.
Yes. You're right. I mean, the hardest part about, you know, tactics of different teams, different players sometimes has to do with what they're thinking. And you know, you're not in their heads, like you can tell them, this is what you should do. But it is, you know, one of the things sometimes sometimes when you're in the moment, they also great getting. You know, let's see if they switch at the net or they're going to stay this way.
You know I want them to switch.
Dude, the one thing about if we can call it the undisciplined compared to, you know, certain things, we don't know what they're thinking, as you said, it is, you know, the one thing it is, you know, entertaining to the point where these guys, you know, if these guys don't always have where they're going to hit, you know, I know that makes the net baseline team not know as well, so it gets a little bit more of the transition in there. But again, sometimes they've also know that when they start doing the transition going left and right, that's when the baseline team has had the most success so far.
Well, look at that point there. It's a perfect example of what we've been talking about this entire set. The ball goes over to the deuce side. No one knows who's volleying it next.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a scheme and you know who's hitting overheads, guess what? Who's going to volley?
Right.
And that's what it is. I mean, you're still going to play great, exciting points, but you're still going to get burned on the gray area ball, and that's exactly what happened.
Right. That's a nice first volley after that, It's amazing too, because everyone talks, guy probably. You watched how Protsenko and Volclair are serving these two, and obviously, we're talking about one of the top teams in the country they're serving against, and they're not hitting these big kick serves and anything, but they're they are such solid volleyers, and they move into that volley so well that it's not not a big deal. So. And there it is. Every time somebody's driven that ball and somebody's been on the net, nobody's missed a volley today.
It's true as well. And talking to a bunch of teams in Chicago when I was there, and a lot of these guys just simply don't get to practice together a lot, so they don't come up with a true scheme, or they play together just because they're
right, talented and friends.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, I get it. And even at the highest level, without saying names, talking to some teams that went deep in Chicago, I asked them, I said, tell me, what was your thought? What was your scheme? And they're like, I don't really know. You know what I mean? So even highest level, I mean, talent sometimes overcomes scores.
Yeah, I never had that talent, so I wouldn't know that. So, but it's but yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, you have the scheme things to try to win. It's interesting. So, like, look at that last point there. Good point going on, and there's a slight chance to try to maybe 30-15 to go up 40-15, and everybody's like, oh look, I hit the down the line shot would be amazing, and then he misses now at 30 all, and that's good volley. The good news for a lot of these guys that are the the ones that do this sport for a living as well as play it, obviously more, is that it's growing in a good way, that a lot of these guys are busy teaching, which is what they need to be doing to make a living, which is, so as you said there, they don't have maybe sometimes they don't have the time to put in to hit that ball as much as they'd like to, but again, the talent's so deep and good that they get away with anything.
Good lead by Osses-Konig.
Oh, and then bad luck. But that was, yeah. And just think of, a duck here is pretty, I'm more amazed that you can get out of the way of something like this than more than anything else. And then the bad luck off the neck. But it's if you think about it, just a couple minutes ago, we were at what? 5-4, triple set point. And now we're at a breaker.
Even though this set is close to an hour in, it feels like it's much faster than that, right?
Yeah, if you would have told me we were playing for an hour, I would have kind of laughed at you and said, I'm like, no, they're not. There's no way. It has that. It does have that feel. Great exciting points. I mean, it is. There it is. Oh, I mean, again, as good as that overhead is, I think both of them might have been on our side of the net, so they knew it.
And you know what, too, though? Going back to the conversation we've had about that overhead, the three, he's driven one, lobbed one, drove it again. If you are going to drive it, I like him just cracking the ball like he did.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to angle it, but
that's the best part of that was but there it was, the one volley out wide, flat forehand. I mean, but if you've not, the biggest thing, if you would go back and watch that point, is the moment Volclair hit that ball to Humphreys, he moved to his right and looked for that forehand. So if he would have went up the middle, he wouldn't have cared. He just would have played the point longer. But he was like, if you dare go wide, I'm going to be there for it. Which obviously makes it for a fun time to have if they do go there.
Got it. You.
Switch. I like the switch in the backcourt there. See what happens at the net. Just based on.
Well, at least Protsenko for the second time has now said something to Volclair as the Osses-Konig has been blitzing, and because of that, they still get to control the net, and which I think they do like, but it is definitely. But one little he's up instead of having Osses-Konig win the point has now got them back to the net where it looks like they seem comfortable.
Yep, good communication again. Yep, great volley by Volclair.
But it is. You can see it's interesting. It's going to be nice, But as I said, we both believe, and that doesn't mean anything. But when they had Protsenko on the right hand and Volclair on the left, if they give it a shorter lob to Protsenko, he's got it. It's like we played that team called Uline Keevens once or twice. You didn't mind if Uline was on the right and Keevens was on the left, I bet.
I didn't like either one of them anywhere, to be honest.
Well, that's again, communication made that overhead look so easy because he told him that, and because of that, he went behind him. Where if he doesn't say anything, he probably goes in the middle.
It's interesting too. I don't mind the fact that necessarily that we do like Protsenko on the right and Volclair hitting the overhead, but even if it's not going to be that way, if they know where they're hitting their overheads,
correct,
they'll just be much better positioned anyways.
But as you said before, communication is like we've heard the mine yours a little bit more. We've also heard the he's coming and things like that compared to where it was 25 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago, where it was just hitting. They might say, "Oh, we're calling the ball more often," but there you go. And then they start talking early. They know what's going on. Communication obviously is I've been told this before. Communication is the key to our relationship, guy.
Yeah, we could all do a better job of that all the time, right?
But yeah, it looks nice, and that's just the only problem is when Volclair moves that far over to hit that forehand there, he's got to try to find down the line because again, and if Humphreys has to reach to hit that volley, that's different. But he let him go right to him. Oh, and then all that work for to get the 2-0 lead, and now it's 2-2 like that.
It's just indicative of the match, though. This tiebreaker is going to be that no one's taking charge of any type of momentum.
It looked like it after the first. It looked nice. Oh, he didn't say anything, and great move. It
Really
looked like
good
it after the first point. They Volclair, Volclair, Protsenko were doing it, and then after that, the next that one forehand, and 2 seconds later, but there we go. Here it comes. Again, a little bit of communication here. And if you see Osses-Konig just wasn't looking at Protsenko at all. Straight by him to get in there.
And that goes back to who's hitting the overhead when you have two people looking up at it.
Mm-hmm. But again, it's just like one of the biggest things we teach is a lot of times is if your partner's hitting an overhead, you got to keep your eyes focused, especially on That's a good swing and for bad luck. It's the you got to keep your head focused forward so you can see what they're doing because they might be moving, they might not. And if they, it's good volley there by Anton Protsenko. Oof.
That's just what Osses-Konig.
Oh, Volclair got away with that one. I think he.
Wow. Great point. That's new paddle right there, right, Matt?
Nice serve there. And then, but then, even though that was an amazing cutter, and obviously he gotten it too so far. Now that was also the how often do you want to see someone try and hit cutters overheads on the basically first volley, and that's just I think the lack of discipline here and there. Knowing that being up 5-4 40 love compared to now it's all of a sudden you're down 5-2, but again, this set is not this set can take a turn in about 2 seconds. We could be saying 5-5 in a minute here from now.
Well, Volclair and Protsenko have settled down at the net. I'll tell you that. They look.
And it just seems that Humphreys and Ossie, it seems a little bit down. Little quick pull the trigger. Just, they have they don't have the body language when they were winning and stuff. He's got to get I know they've heard that, in the last few weeks they've had some tough losses here and there and some matches, and you might lose. Hopefully their confidence gets back up there to get ready to, because this match has got a long way to go.
Yeah, I think it comes down to who's going to play a little slower at the right time.
Yes. There's the set. It just seems but it just seems right now, this is right now where Humphreys needs to take a break. Get himself back into the, if you look at this point here, as you said, here we go, some new. When was the last time you saw that many volleys in a row in a platform match?
Right.
So, yeah, you can see this is where I just wish that, Osses-Konig and Humphreys would get together a little bit, They're so talented, and they know what to do. They just need to, have a game plan to set a little bit early. As I see Volclair coming up to the hut, so they have some time now. Protsenko came up, and if you've been here at Huntington Country Club, it's not a short walk. You got it. We're gonna go to a commercial break. We'll see you guys in a few.
Ready for a whole new training experience? Welcome to Volley. At Volley, we've developed the first AI training system for racket sports, providing pros with the advanced teaching tools they've been waiting for, and giving players a new way to level up their game and enhance their time on the court. Ask your pro about a Volley lesson today and learn what Volley can do for you. We'll see you on the court.
Welcome back. Here we are again at the getting ready for the second set at the Protsenko and Volclair versus Humphreys Osses-Konig match. Interesting first set there. A lot of momentum shifts, a lot of change. Mr. Moore, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think we're going to see a lot more of the same. In that tiebreaker was indicative of the match. No one really held on to any momentum, and then it comes down to a little frustration. I think that the team that comes up with the best game plan here in this second set could win the set fairly easily. Either one of these teams. These teams are both in terms of talent players, I mean, they're both right there. I mean, Osses-Konig have a lot of experience together. So
Yeah.
Humphreys and Osses-Konig, I mean, they've been playing almost exclusively together for the past 2 or 3 years. So I look for them to make some good adjustments here.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. Interesting. They said, and funny though. So, Volclair and Protsenko, they, win that set, and after winning that set, they're the ones that take that break, and after they take, we all know how it happens after taking that break sometimes, So hopefully they can, for their sake, keep, as they said, keep going what they're doing. I do have an update here. In the first set, it's 5-3 Broderick and Christian at 15-all over Nunes and Salazar. That match is going on right now in the court over there. It's interesting. I've not seen Nunes and Salazar play as much, and you've got a righty-lefty against a righty-lefty, and both lefties are playing the ad court.
Yeah, Nunes and Salazar had a great run at the Chicago Charities. Drew Broderick and Tomas Christian also had a nice run there. And Nunes and Salazar, the more experience they get, the better and better they're going to become. They're a very good up-and-coming team.
Yeah.
Matt, we should give a shout-out to Lisa Rudloff up in the chair.
Definitely. She's, she's doing it all. She's going to be calling matches. She's did the women's matches, and men's matches. She's in the chair. She does a great job here at Huntington Country Club with their program. They have a very vibrant program with a lot of players and stuff. So, taking a little time away from the fam to, because we all love the sport so much. And I heard one of the reasons she's on Long Island, Guy, might be because of you.
Yeah, Lisa and I have a long history. She came into town from Georgia and won a national title. And I was at the creek in Locust Valley and went out to dinner and had a great time and interview with her. And she's been on Long Island ever since. But she's a special person.
Yeah. Yeah, first point there, you get the points going a little bit. Said you get it, Humphreys and Osses-Konig, he's like, they just are not, yeah, I mean, you could see there's some energy from them,
Well, I think that's their game plan right there. And Protsenko and Volclair want to start this second set quick and get on top, because the way it's going back and forth, you want to be the one and
yeah, also, but you can see right there, you have that soft serve and the miss, and I think part of it has to do, again, it was just a little bit, she said they, last few weeks, they might not have as the results they would have liked. Oh, the big peg.
Take a little off that, Philippe.
And yeah, so no, it was, but it's very interesting too. Is the you can this soft serve out wide, and there's Chris. He stayed back and hit a very nice backhand on that one. But sometimes you might have a slight hesitation or a doubt, and sometimes, and obviously you pray, hope for them they don't. But then if they do, and it makes it even tougher, then you're down on yourself. And it's this sport, you cannot be down on yourself. It's too hard of a sport.
Well, I'll say this, and it goes back to the fact that that's his play right there.
Wow, but I mean, that's great.
Well, by them staying back on the serve, they're not missing a serve, and they're not missing a first volley, so they're guaranteeing themselves they're in every single point, which is huge. And to be honest with you, Matt, that could probably be the difference in the set. The first set.
You look at what was the one game that they got broke on was on Volclair's serve, where he was up 40-15 and faulted like 17 times since. It was interesting.
Yeah.
So, and then Protsenko hasn't. The two is Volclair though is being active at the net on Protsenko's serve. It's not like he's sitting there going, here just tee off on it. He's got great hands. He's standing a half an inch from the net and working it. But when they do get it past there, he's not being brave and trying to stay up there and win every point either. So it's an interesting. It's a good talk because I know for in the past, Protsenko's had his one thing they've said about his he's got all the talent in the world. When you start missing a few serves, it does wear on you as well. Good move there by Humphreys. Oh, great shot. Great.
Wow.
Great shot. That's a great backhand by the Frenchman.
Yeah, and those type of shots you can never teach. That's just talent, seeing the court, knowing where he's going to hit it. That's what I was saying earlier today is he'll hit those types of shots as a front runner. Mm-hmm. You didn't see that any time in the first set until now.
Right now. As you said, the one thing too about this, is as this match gonna go on, as you said, what's the big difference between these two teams so far? Not just during the match, was getting here before the match. Getting here before the match was one team just got a 7-6 in the third. The other team had a nice win, a couple wins and stuff. So it's a different. You hope mentally those guys at the net they're ready. Good pickup.
Well, so far, we're going to see, as we've seen, great points, but it's going to always come back down to what everything kind of does come back down to, and that's just who's doing the basics well, who's not going to miss the serve, who's not going to miss the first volley, who's not going to make return errors, and that's exactly what happened in the first set.
Mm-hmm. And that's a big point. That was a very big point there. That could have been, go up one. You get up 1-0 there. It could be way different than, now they're back to deuce. Oh, and then that's just a little bit of not wanting to move your feet, and then go from there.
I like that energy from Humphreys for sure.
Yeah, they said he just looked. For him, it was just a little bit. Looked a little bit down, and that's the one thing in this. Yeah. When these guys first came down, in this these matches, not today, but in a few years ago, it was a right swing. He's got him off the net finally. As you said, he took him off the net, went for his forehand, missed it. When these guys first came on the scene, they were all, almost like didn't know better, so they were all so positive about things unless they weren't winning. Now you start to know more, you always start to think too much about your own shots, not about, and not about the actual thought process of what shot should I hit as much as if you miss a little bit, you start to think, hopefully as you said, as Humphrey starts to get his, motor going sometimes, as they said, they're all such good front runners.
And I think I keep talking about overhead and net scheme because playing so many years with the lefty, there was no choice. Having two forehands in the middle at the net, you had to know who was hitting overheads. So I'm not suggesting that there has to always be a switch at the net as a team because everyone wants to stay involved. And your job description is going to change based on what position you're in. But where you're targeting to hit your overhead, because your net scheme is not about where you're going to volley as much as it's about where you're going to hit your overheads.
Right. No, exactly. Listen, if you make a volley, you don't care if they drive again normally because they're driving from that low to high, which is either going to go out or it's going to be volleyed. It's but if you can get them off the net with a lob, now they're hitting down on that overhead and they're off the net. Obviously, that makes it much different, much harder. And there it is.
Watch it.
And you can see, boom. And that's just And if you have to rely on hitting shots like that the whole match to win matches, that's not a good recipe for yourself. But no, just to let you know here, Mr. Moore, the first set was Broderick and Christian 6-4. So
Nice.
in our two quarterfinal matches that have started so far, we have two quarterfinal matches that have started so far. We've had two very tight first sets. As the little Vince Broderick just walks by eating lamb chops, making fun of us as he's eating, and we're out here working.
You got it, go.
And tell little Vince Broderick I said hello.
Oh, we will. Yeah, I will. It's not really funny. So one thing they do a great job at this tournament here is they bring out the lamb chops. And then half the time the players don't even get to see them because they get to play these nice, fun, long matches. If they knew their lamb chop, maybe that's why Louis was playing so fast earlier.
Well, speaking of this tournament too, Dwayne Hayden, the namesake of this men's tournament, what an amazing gentleman he was, and just a very, 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 very special, unique person.
So it's very interesting. Yeah, no, he did obviously did a great job at this, not just this tournament, but for the Long Island paddle, and not just the national stuff. He was a great host and a great bunch of things, and so hopefully these guys, for all these players here, they're so some of these guys probably never got to meet Dwayne, unfortunately, but I remember meeting Dwayne back in the day when I got to play Mr. Guy Moore and Mr. Scott Crabtree at the same time.
Oh boy!
But that's a shot too. Even if he makes it, what's going to happen next? Because Chris read that one.
It's a tactical mistake. Because Chris is hanging on the net, and Chris is watching him hit the ball and sees his hands high, and it's an easy close.
Right. So it's a smart play by the net team to tempt those guys, and it's boom. Just like we always tell you when you're looking to hit a good lob to maybe look for some offense. But at the same time, you're looking to hit overheads to have them drive on your terms. And if they do drive on your terms, the game is not that it's not bad. When they're driving on their own terms, that's not the fun part.
And at the highest level, the game's changing a lot too, because some teams are almost encouraging the drive to have transition start or volleying short to pull somebody in where they can stuff them because the hands are so good. And they want those quick exchanges. They're speeding up points by that.
Yes, no, exactly what you're saying there. It's just so everything's changing and for the good. I mean, again, that's a big game for those guys. Getting it to 1-1, getting it to 1. There goes Vince again. 2 more lamb chops this kid has. What are we gonna do with him? But it's wonderful that those guys can pull the games together like that because they need maybe. In the first set, people were, if you look at this match right now, be like, oh, it's just a wonderful match. Nobody will realize that. At 3 match points, they got a little loose and had one bad luck, and next thing you know, they're down a set.
You got it.
I go.
Switching out in the back.
Yep.
Why don't they do that at the net, Matt?
I mean, that's just but that's the undisciplined there part of you're off the net unless they don't care, unless they really want to, unless he's trying to create some more offense by the backcourt and going forward more. But I also did. There's the one I like that move. I also did like a lot more in that last game. If you saw, Humphreys was hitting more of the overheads to Volclair, not because not to say picking on him, but that left Osses-Konig at the net and ready at the net, which gave them an identity for a while, because you're right, they think they were switching way too much on who was hitting the shots.
It's amazing how he can hit the balls from the service line at his feet like that, right? I mean, that is
make it look
not
routinely.
Yeah, it is not easy to do what Osses-Konig is doing.
No. But that I love the move. I love the move, and but I would love the call even better because again, that he doesn't say anything. He's gonna probably go soft middle, and Osses-Konig's gonna be there.
Yeah, this flow of first couple games here is, well, the last game, including this game, is favors Chris Humphreys and Osses-Konig. That's how they like it.
Yeah, I mean,
A lot more rhythm there.
but there's where their racket skill can take over some, because those are some shots that you would probably sit back and be like, why are you driving? Oh, you made a great drive, and oh, look how good fast you are. You can make that next shot again, at least,
Yeah, Osses-Konig and Humphreys look a bit more organized with the net. With Humphreys.
Little bad luck there.
Yeah. I still like that point by Humphreys and Osses-Konig a lot.
Oh yeah, no, I mean you can never beat luck, right? Bad luck's gonna kill you all the time. But it was a great point. They got themselves in. Oh, that's just look at this talent here.
Nice, Belly. Great shot.
Yeah.
And that's just,
And that's why I like that scheme, because Osses-Konig hanging on the net like that, he sees the court so well. They've played enough to know that.
I like that little move by Humphreys. Instead of trying to be smart, trying to go for so much, they just throw that lob back up, live to fight some more.
Nice ball.
Got it.
Great pickup there, because
And I agree with Humphreys staying back there, because
oh yeah,
Osses-Konig was all over the net. I mean, they weren't necessarily in the I formation, but Humphreys didn't want to get caught in between.
no, and you got to know your. I mean, that's where obviously knowing your partner, how quick and fast they are too, makes it easier. Knowing that they're going to go in the right spot. Great first volley at the forehand by. Yep.
Got it.
Oh.
Got it.
Good switch.
Oh.
Wow.
That one's gonna sting a little. I mean, he read it. He was right on the net. But he also look Volclair for the last 4 or 5 times taking that shot every time middle cross court. Went down the line just a little bit more and had him reaching. That's the one thing I don't get sometimes, how fast these guys go between points.
I know. I tell you what, both well, a little less with Osses-Konig Humphreys, but Protsenko and Volclair, I mean,
there could be a world record about how fast they're going, because
I mean sometimes Protsenko doesn't even seem like he's ready, and Volclair's serving.
That's a big backhand.
Sure was. That's his weapon, Humphreys. See if they fall into this good pattern. Osses-Konig hanging on the net. Yep, I like it.
Oh, that's a. Oh,
Yep.
did I hit the net?
Oh.
I know you missed it, but I don't know if you a little bad luck there, but
Still a good move.
oh yeah, it's a great move. Unfortunately, bad luck and stuff like that, and then again.
Wow.
After
This is
that,
where
amazing.
Louis Volclair, you've got to slow down. I guess you could look at it 2 ways, Matt. Playing fast if you're winning, keep playing fast if you're.
Yeah, I mean, that is totally correct. You always want to say if you're winning, you want to keep at your pace and you want to keep it going. However, there is but it's not like people are winning here. It's not like it's 4-0 or anything. It's 40-30 all of a sudden. I mean,
But you can't change the nature too. I mean, that's
Yep.
just the nature. You like to play fast, you're gonna like to play fast.
Correct.
I mean, you're gonna win or lose by it. I mean,
Again,
it is what it is.
that is so true. And again, that's where we both said the one thing is the talent is so good that they can, as you said, get away with certain things if you want to play. Oh, that's a nice lob volley. And but the communication has been way better after. That's a nice, that was a beautiful move.
Yep.
Can't really teach that.
No, I think the communication on both sides has gotten much better as they play their way into the match. Both teams.
But you're right.
And
No.
that just goes with them learning spots and
Yeah, and you can see, we go back to here for a second. It's this doom. Yep. The funniest part about that shot there is it's a shot that's been used a lot over the years by the best players, and of course, in that wonderful other game of pickleball, try to say, oh no, no, it's not a pickle shot. That's a paddle shot we've been doing for years. Just,
You got it.
oh, nice shot, coming through it.
yeah. Osses-Konig is starting to do more of what he does best, moving forward, and you never see Humphreys come in. He always stays back, which I agree with 100%. He kind of slides towards that center hash mark, playing the eye, and letting him do whatever he wants.
But then he gets, that. But then he gets the opportunities. It just seems that he's missing just, an inch here, an inch there with a drive here and there. It's like if he was just, and when he does make it, most of the time, Volclair and Protsenko have been making the volleys, so it just makes you want to try it a little bit harder, and you don't need to. The second set over in Nunes Salazar up 4-love. And going in with Broderick serving at love 30. So, without being able to see that match, a little bit of a change over there. I'm back here, and as he said, after the first two games we were watching, we probably thought even if this was a three-setter, we'd be done by now. It was so quick. But it is definitely slowed down in one way. And slowed down in a way and kind of going from there. Big game here, though, for these guys. I mean, again, every game is a big game. Nice first volley. Blitz coming in. And
I'll tell you what, that's not an easy volley that Osses-Konig to redirect that volley away from.
Because he didn't want to volley it there originally.
No. Even though he missed it, it's the ball to drive. He's got, maybe a little bit of a lazier footwork than he would like to have had if he could have it back. But he set it up just fine, and it's an overhead that Humphreys got to be very careful of. And then he comes back with that same forehand for a winner. It's. Wow.
Right, great move. One of the things that's interesting if you see these guys that are serving there it is. I like this move here, the I formation with if you look back when that's pretty. You can't beat that. But if you look back when teams that started to serve those sidearm and underhand serves more often, the teams that were beating them or taking it to them were the ones that were blitzing off of them, and then they started to do Australian and do more I formations, and by doing that, you're taking away that going forward because that's the one thing that underhand serve is not bad, but these players are so good they know how to attack it.
It's a big point here, Matt. Whoa.
Well, he heard you. I got it.
Whoa. Ball hit the door. I do like I do like the variety here with the high formation.
Yeah. It's harder. Oh, that's a great one. But it's harder to to blitz right away off of or play that aggressiveness because the guy's right in the middle. That's a big. Yeah. All I know is DraftKings ever could get a hold of this sport, this would be a great match to be on live, live bet in this match. You wouldn't know where to go every point.
Yeah, the house makes the money on this side. Well, you still got to look at it that the pressure is on Humphreys and Osses-Konig. They are down a set. It is 2-all. This is where Volclair and Protsenko need to take control. Good lead by Osses-Konig.
It's by him coming at the great shots, amazing shots too. I mean, this tells you how good those hands are because that backhand was knifed off that screen and Protsenko just probably just volleys the ball soft deep middle like it was no big deal.
Great shot.
It's a great job just to, instead of letting it go through, just not trying to make the
Exactly. Yeah, that ball was really tricky too because of the height. It was at that height that makes it kind of confusing whose ball it is. Same one there.
Yeah, because and then there it is, the one down up overhead. Yeah. Good move by Humphreys.
That same ball by Osses-Konig set that up. I like that pattern a lot. They should utilize that more.
They might. At point after points like that, you might see them switch in the backcourt. We'll see. As I said, because, as I said, it's not like, ooh, that's a good return. But like Osses-Konig, if you put him in the deuce side, what are you going to do? You're not going to go up the middle because he's going to love that backhand. And Humphreys got, he's hitting that forehand, on the ad side down up most of the time.
I do really like that scheme by Humphreys and Osses-Konig. I love Humphreys hitting the overhead, especially as a lefty. It's just a different look all day long.
It is, what's nice about that too for those guys, like just observation. It just seems like they go a little better when Humphreys is hitting a little bit more. It's like, as you said, all these guys are such, in a way, good alphas and this and that, but it just seems like, Osses-Konig, he can, put himself, and then be able to be that more free, that's a little too far back there, but he can be a little bit more on that free range where, where he was, like, and he can cut balls off where, Humphreys doesn't look to cut balls off as much and things. So now it allows him to be able to be more engaged in some of the hitting. And it allows Osses-Konig to be more, independent.
Well, you look at it as you think, what are their strengths, right? I mean, a lefty has a huge advantage because of the spin and the different looks anyways, and Osses-Konig is obviously just so quick at the net and loves to play on top of the net. I mean, I just think that's a great net. I mean, look, he's right there. That's where he feels best.
I mean, that was beautiful. And that's a good, it looks like Protsenko did a very good job of basically calling off the switch there, knowing that he was no way going to be able to get back. That's a good forehand.
Wow.
It was just a second ago with what? Was it 40 love again in this game? You know, if you go to 15 or, you know. That's got, it takes, you know, it takes a toll on you when you're up in a lot of games and then you can't really, you know, close them off, you know. And sometimes, the next thing you know, it's tough. You're right, though, guy. Going back and forth, left and right, it's harder to hit volleys that way too.
For sure, for sure. I mean, I know we talked about it over and over today, but having a definitive net scheme is just so important. But you know what it is too, Matt, is you can watch a team and know who's hitting overheads, who's hitting volleys, and see that they have a game plan and know.
I mean, Manzinger and Goodspeed, you played them how many times? And they, if you ever were lucky enough to beating them, you knew that after that match, you might mentally, physically be grinding because they would not give you anything. And they were so disciplined in how they played their game. And if they wanted to change it up, they didn't just change it. They would have a strategy about why they would change it. And, you know, that's the reason why so many times, as, you know, people talk about different things. And, you know, if you like, you can talk to the Hughes and the Powers and the Johans and those guys. They have definite plans when they're out there. They're not just swinging away.
And it's easy to see very early on in the match.
That's a great overhead.
Sure was. Did he miss it?
But you were saying, though, it was, as you said.
Well, it's easy to see early on in the match a team is disciplined or a team is playing with talent. I mean, they're fine, but it's just easy to identify it.
I mean, it was just a second ago it was add in, and now it's a break. That was a very, very big game for Humphreys and stuff.
Yeah, and I think, too, with, again, looking at Humphreys and Osses-Konig, I mean, that is a huge weapon from Humphreys. And, I mean, if he's hitting overheads, he gets into that rhythm and gets into that flow, for sure.
Yeah.
It's tough when you feel like, and I'm not saying this is, but if you know you're the one hitting the overhead, you're already thinking 2 or 3 shots in advance because you're not hitting an overhead for it to be driven most of the time. So you're already lining up your next 2 or 3 shots.
Yeah. All right. Volley, the official sponsor of the APTA Tour for the 2023-24 season. Backed by the cutting-edge technology's unique business offer, Volley is the innovator of the first AI-enabled racket sports experience that stimulates sports. By enabling players and pros to record sessions on their own, Volley also delivers off-court player analysis, all from your phone. Talk to your pro and visit getvolley.com. And by the way, these guys all, I've been told, do use that. So, I mean, it's a very big thing, being able to do it. You remember the ball machine back in the day, guy? It's called your best friend or your pro.
Yeah, when I was in Chicago, I was talking to Abby over in the volley tent. I mean, that is an amazing. I mean, it's more than the ball machine. I mean, the AI aspect of it, all of it. I mean, it's really, really unique and cool.
Yeah, no, it's amazing that you would never think in this sport that technology could really make a difference, but it has, even in the paddles, it has in the balls, it has in, you know, everything, changing everything. And now you get the, as you said, those guys that over at Volley have done an amazing job of making something that, didn't think it was, didn't think it was so possible because, making a ball machine that, you couldn't have a ball machine move up and down, and they figured out how to do it.
Good time to give up the net. Short volley. Wow.
Is it getting to that time of day too? Yeah, it sounds weird, but that time of day where it's got that, it's not dark yet, but it's not bright out anymore. So it's, the good news is these guys change balls every 7 games, so it's not like you're going to be playing with that, unbright ball. Nice, very nice volley.
And that's where they're strongest, with him hanging on the net. I like that. You see Osses-Konig move over to his left.
Again, the only thing I would tell different right now between Volclair and Protsenko would be, yes, whenever they were just a little more definitive when, as good as an overhead as that is, that's why he wants to be over there. They're just a little bit more definitive during those longer points when Volclair is on the left.
And again, you have 2 players who have very good overhead, so I get why they're not switching out. But they 100% have to have the spots and agree on the spots that they're hitting them to. Because if you are in that volley position, you need to know where the ball's going to come back from.
Oh, yeah. That's a great lob there to set that shot up there. He gets that ball. Oh my! But again, what's is even though Humphrey went to hit that backhand, the moment Volclair hit that overhead, Protsenko jumped the net, so that backhand drive Humphreys hit was taken away, and that's exactly as you said. I like that play so much better.
Yep.
Great volley there.
Yep.
Big point here, obviously.
See if they stay this way with Osses-Konig hitting overheads.
That's a smart lob. Get him off the net some. The wide. That's the shot. He's falling backwards, as he said. And these Humphreys and Osses-Konig, they close the net so well. Nice move. I like how Humphreys is smart. Getting out of here, bail early. I don't need to make an amazing shot. Now we're back in that point. That's a good lob there.
Yeah, those lobs down the line create confusion.
It's amazing how many people that you've talked to that don't play, it just really get into playing too, and they all think that the cross-court lob is the best lob because it's the easiest, and it's like, it's as simple as, a lot of players said, when you're in that corner, your best lob is going to be down that line. Get it, unless you don't believe in your partner ever. You hit that ball down the line, it can create some confusion, it can create a lot of things, and it gives them, your team a better angle to deal with.
Well, you're right too. You're not only dictating who hits the ball, but you're really kind of dictating where the next ball goes too,
Yeah.
right?
Lobbing with a purpose is something that it's amazing. You probably had, how many players asked you that, and you're like, why did you lob that ball? Why didn't you drive that ball? You're like, I didn't lob it because you lob because you have to. You lob because now once you hit that lob, you're looking. You're not just lobbing because you're lobbing with a purpose.
Well, and what you consider a good lob from when you begin playing paddle to as you get better and better are very different. Your mind's got to evolve because in the beginning you're like, oh, I want to lob over somebody's head because my screens are weaker and I want to be at the net, which I don't disagree with.
Nope.
But as you get better, it goes back to what we just said, and that's lobbing with a purpose to a spot where you control who hits it and you control where the next ball goes.
Yeah. So after that, unless I looked over, you got Broderick Christian at down 5-2 now in that set. They've won the last couple games. I think these quarterfinals realize that there's more quarters going on after, and they all have to be live streamed normally. So they're gonna, make sure that they, make this night go on forever.
Go, go, go!
Well, it's good, Matt, that Volclair did hit one lob on that same ball, right?
But you can see it's amazing. Like, yep. And then now all of a sudden, Erica, that's just athleticism. Nice shot.
Great ball, come on!
But look at that. A little positive at it. When was the last time you heard Humphreys? Come on.
Not today. I like it.
But this is the one here that, when you have them too many times, I think when people have people in transition, or they try to almost win the point by going into corners instead of just go back up the middle if you can't,
But there's a really good example of what we were just talking about with the lob. Humphreys lobs down his line. Ball gets hit firmly into Osses-Konig's corner. It becomes a vertical ball off the screen, offensive ball. And that's where his best offense is from.
Yep.
Is a screen drive.
Oh, yeah. That down up, he goes down over there. And if you see, Protsenko just, he had to try to drop shot there. He missed it. Volclair, it's the first time Volclair has taken more than, half a second between, between serves, only because he had to talk to his partner, but still.
Well, Protsenko was still fixing his hat when Volclair served. There we go. He's walking up. Serve coming.
He's not even there yet. If you tried that back in the day with Drew, what would he have done to you?
Probably walked out the door.
You can see how good these guys' hands are, though. I mean, it's just the exchanges that have been, and they're fun to watch, though. Something you don't classically every day say, hey, but yeah, they're, very fun to see the talent in this game go. That's a good roller there, but that lob goes back over that. And I know these guys are tired a little bit, but that's the lob that you're playing. Osses-Konig. If you don't get out of there, he's coming right back at you.
Matt, too, I was thinking the other day, my good buddies I haven't seen in a while. I was just thinking of Long Island, John Schmidt, Danny Rothschild. They had a lot of success at this tournament years and years ago when they played. And they kind of set the stage for kind of the way the game's being played now.
Oh, yeah. They
Johnny hung back and Danny blitzed everywhere. You know what I mean?
You're not going to find two more competitors, too.
And by the way, neither one of those guys asked for that shout out, so somebody better be texting me.
The question is, do you think they're watching this? Nah, it's amazing, though. It's what this game is, the amount of racket skills. And those are two of the, Rothschild and Schmidt. What did they do to this game? They made this game way more offensive. And, they were, they drove balls you didn't really think you could drive. And now they're, I think it brought a lot more of these racket skills, tennis players, style, talent, into this sport. It's a great return there.
I'll do this.
Yeah, I don't know if someone's won 3 games in a row between them this time. Good lob, way to slow it down, go back to neutral. Yeah, Osses-Konig probably has the service line volley off the bounce I've seen.
So we were talking about, how fast they're playing and this playing, and we are what? Well, that's a return there. They need to, you can't be missing it,
Regular, I'll do this.
But we're, 3 points away of maybe going into a, oop, nice return. I like the little move though, the little move moving up.
Again, I'm gonna go here.
To go in this match has already been almost 2 hours, but it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, the tempo keeps changing. It's fast, it's slow.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's going to come down to who does, like I was just going to say, who does the basics well, who does less of that. Faulting or serve return. It's going to come down to the easy shots, not the tough shots.
So it's very interesting. Is now that was the second game they've had to win a set, and both games. The first time when they were up 5-4, they got up above 40 because playing some good points, and then they kind of felt like they rushed to try to win. And that game it felt like they again tried to rush again. And,
wow. So there it is. The last 3 points, right? All the basics. Hey, what?
This has been a very interesting 4 points in about 13 seconds here. There we go. Come on.
See how they're kind of in the eye there until they get organized. Now this is where I like Humphreys dropping back and hitting overhead.
Yes. And then
Nice.
Because don't get me wrong, you would think that would be the right ball to drive, but you got to know who you're playing against, who loves to take that net over and really go back over there. I like this. I love this move right here.
Yeah, I don't even see. I mean, the net scheme of Osses-Konig and Humphreys. If Osses-Konig hangs on the net, Humphreys hit overhead. I just don't see anything bad about that ever.
Oh no.
I mean, it's good. Chris has a bunch of spin. Just loves to move at the net. I mean, he thrives on it.
Yeah, no, it's exactly what you're saying. It's the, it is the, it gives him an identity a little bit more too. That's the one where, again, Protsenko could tell him a second earlier, Louis can unload on a ball or do something a little different. Now we're back to, set point number 4.
Oh.
A little slip, and there we go. We have a set.
You okay?
Yeah, and you can see here, like, if you watch here, is this waiting his opportunity, and it wasn't even a ball that you would probably, even if it has an instructor, put the blitz on because they're so far back, but he's watching the opponents. He's seeing that they're not watching him. Takes off and goes after him.
One more, I know it's not the rule, but
So what really interested me about the trainer was the endless opportunities with it. I've gone through a couple ball machines in my career before, and this really was a technologically advanced machine that I've never seen before. Digging into it a little more in depth, I really found the opportunities to use it in my advantage. All right, ladies, just 1 minute, we'll get started. Always trying to recreate these tennis ball machines into paddle ball machines to practice, and this was the first thing on the market that really came out. We have a robust membership here, very active in the paddle community, and I think the volley is going to kind of put us over top as a program. All right, ladies, welcome. All right, today we're going to go over our side back screens. So we've got the volley trainer out here with us today. We'll have 2 on this side hitting. So the cool part about the volley is during lessons when I'm able to use it is I really get a more in-depth connection with my clients. So when I have a lesson out on the court, I can set up the volley to feed a screen, and I don't have to be on the other side of the court kind of yelling to them what they need to change, what they need to do while I'm hitting. I'm really using my time with them right next to them to make those changes quicker so they can have more success in the long term. Bridget's on the net, Robin's sliding over. We are going to be beat by this cross-court lob a lot. I'm Blake Anderson, Director of Rackets at Fairmont Country Club. Try the volley at your club and you won't regret it.
Welcome back here to get ready for the to the Dwayne Hayden Invitational on Long Island, Illinois, in Huntington, New York, at the wonderful Huntington Country Club. We are here, myself with Guy Moore. My name is Matt Garvalia. We are here to watch the 3rd set of the Humphreys Osses-Konig Protsenko Volclair match, which has been a. If you are looking for entertainment and not watching and not wanting to ups and downs of valleys, you're here to watch a very fun match then. And we're thinking that we're going to be good. Mr. Moore, what's your thoughts on it so far?
It's crossing over.
I think we're going to see a lot of what we've seen the first 2 sets. It's going to be, and when the players come back, I'll reintroduce them. But it's going to be a lot of the same. And I know we've said some of the same things numerous times during this match, but it's going to come down to the basics again. Who faults, who misses a serve return, who misses a first volley. Although some of these guys they're staying back, and so they're eliminating that. But it's not the difficult shots that we're seeing Arizona. It's the simple ones, and sometimes teams are playing a little bit fast here, and Humphreys and Osses-Konig took advantage of that in that set. And, I don't think anyone's won 3 games in a row like they did, 4 games, something like that. So.
Yeah, no, I think you're totally correct, especially when it said that they came down to the taking advantage of. Just like it's something like, Protsenko Volclair in the middle of that second set had a small mental, I wouldn't say letdown for a second. And because of that, they were able to, jump on it. And we're talking about a point or 2. We're not talking about a game or a whole thing. And now it's, interesting to see. Just a little update on the other match going on right next to us in the other men's quarterfinal. Broderick and Christian are up a set, 6-4, down 5-3, with points here to maybe try to make it. I was wrong. At 5-3, they're down, but they were down 5-love, so they're making a nice little comeback here in the second set.
Yeah, Drew Broderick and Tomas Christian are going to make them earn it if they're going to win the set over there, I'm sure.
Say it again.
I think the last time Drew had a match under 2, had a match that was, he didn't make somebody earn it. Could have been his first ever match where he had to play with his brother and he just wanted to get off the court with Dave. But, that's a long time ago.
So the players are switching sides here. Side closest to us, we have in all black Louis Volclair. To the left, the blue shorts, we have Andrew. On the other side, the red shirt, we have Chris Humphreys and his partner, Lee Osses-Konig, in black at the net. So, Matt, I expect a lot of the same set. So it's going to come down to who plays better at the right time.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's that first point on it. Again, it does almost feel like the beginning of the match again. All of a sudden, where now there's time for them to figure out what to do again, get their bodies going. They all just took a little bit of a break, and it's and see if they're gonna.
I like it though. It's the right move.
It's the right move. He unfortunately, Volclair got away with one there.
Another thing another thing to mention, a little off topic of the match, is, the Long Island paddle community. I was Long Island early in my career, and the paddle community was so strong. And the director of this tournament, Tim Mangan, has done an amazing job all these years, just building LIPTA and the community. And this tournament has always been a favorite of all the players, both men and women.
It's definitely been a fun time since I've moved here to Long Island.
That's a great ball right there. He held that and let it drop.
The old Steve DeRose drop shot there.
Yeah, exactly.
Except DeRose might have smiled a little more.
DeRose, before he hit the drop shot, he would have been already walking back to the baseline. Yeah, that's not an easy shot to hit. That is not an easy shot to hit from up high.
That was for Humphreys and Osses-Konig, that's the kind of game they needed to start off with. They had get some momentum going for them early, and then and obviously for Protsenko and Volclair, they need to try to get themselves and get them moving again. They just came off of a really big 7-6 in the third win, a couple hours before this, so see how fresh they are, not just physically, but how fresh they are mentally.
And I also think that, again, Osses-Konig and Humphreys have played a lot of matches in the last couple of years together, and experience will come into play here for sure in these tight big matches. Matt, going back to DeRose, would you concur that he probably was the most talented player playing paddle that did not win a national?
Oh, I can't. He was amazing. I mean, he had so much talent, and and the best part about him was his attitude out there. You knew it didn't matter if he didn't matter if he was playing his worst paddle or the best paddle. He'd always be smiling and being happy out there. But he was so close. Him and Mr. Lubau made the finals. But a couple semifinals, and this tournament is got to be one of the hardest tournaments in any sport to win, because it is not this tournament that you can just hit winners on compared to other sports.
Yeah, DeRose and Lubau, good team for many years.
Yeah.
Great team.
Wow.
If volley can teach it cut or overhead, that's the one they should be hitting.
Holy moly. That was pretty.
They should probably change balls. I mean, there's probably nothing left on that one.
That's a very smart move there, though, by Volclair, letting that ball go. And, and actually, Protsenko, early in the match, I bet you would have driven that ball there. Now, it's like, and as you said, guy, if anything, sometimes, when you're hitting a lot of lobs, it's almost like calling a timeout in basketball. It's not just, you're doing it for strategy reasons, not just physical reasons. And you can slow down the momentum your opponent's momentum so well. And then if even if you're not winning that point, getting the momentum back to where you want to. That's a good overhead, though.
That's what I want them to buy into that and do that the whole rest of this set. That is their success, for sure.
That's that lob, though. He got the lob down the line to get a little bit of movement going, but those overheads are great. Those soft push deep overheads, and almost like please drive it. I want you to drive it off the deck.
And like we said earlier, well, that's a good lob by Osses-Konig, but he just drove 3 balls in a row. I liked it. He didn't get the look he wanted, and he lobbed the ball. That was the right play. I even don't mind that miss from him because he's going to get what he wants when that ball comes back.
Yeah, no, I mean, he missed the backhander, but it's a ball
Three
above the
guys
net.
in a row. Yep, 3
But
guys. He just, listen, he's speeding up the point. That's what he wants.
And then when he finally, he missed a drive that he obviously doesn't want to miss, but he set it up beautifully, got himself into it.
Watch it.
Good communication.
And even though, great get.
Let's see if these guys stick with what we were talking about. Good switch in the backcourt by Protsenko, Volclair. Yep, like they're gonna.
And I like Protsenko and Volclair need it. If they're in the backcourt, they do need to switch a little bit because it is. For the simple fact that I do like the, Volclair taking Humphreys' overheads a little bit differently. Because he's got that, flatter ball and stuff like that. And that's a great lob, even,
Yeah.
got him off the net.
Yeah, they got Osses-Konig getting more overheads here, which is great lob production by Volclair and
That's the ball there. He's got to be careful of. I mean,
nice shot. Yeah, you can't hit a medium pace ball there. You got to crush it.
now when you have someone a half a foot from the net. So just a little update. We have a third set getting ready to start over on court 1. Nunez Salazar won the second set 6-3.
Great shots. Come on, man. Right here.
But that's the overhead there. You either got to smack it so hard that it's gonna get 2 screens no matter what, or you've got to go middle. You can't just try to push it over wide because Osses-Konig is looking to hit that down up overhead.
Yeah, and when you do hit that overhead over there as the overhead person, you're asking to play the court for 85% of the court by yourself because your partner has to hang on their line.
Yep, and now all of a sudden they have one bad shot. Next thing you know, they're down 2-0, right? And this is where this is it sounds obviously a very big game for both players tonight. But getting up 3-0 in the third set compared to 2-1 is a massive difference, and see how Louis and Volclair and Anton Protsenko come out for the beginning of this game.
And again, I think this is where experience will take over a little bit. We'll see a little bit more discipline on who's hitting what. Nice cover there by Humphreys.
But he called it super early. It just seems like, again, now all of a sudden, if they can get the momentum and bring it their direction, It's a great get. You can see it. Think about this point so far. Now I like that the pace is nice and slow and doing their thing, but just 10 seconds ago they were made an amazing return and a great get. Now give Osses-Konig and Humphreys. Now they're gonna.
Well, here's what I want to say too, Matt. Is that whole point's a great example of not having a net because both players are standing on the service line.
Yeah.
That is not the stagger that you want.
No. And I think Osses-Konig, I like this. He loves seeing that because now what happens?
Of course. I mean, because there's, when you have 2 players standing on the service line, there's going to be confusion. Confusion comes when you're side by side, not when there's a stagger.
Correct. Great ball, dude. Great shot.
That's a great volley. I think Protsenko needs his off pace to Konig is getting him in trouble here a little bit, but and next thing you know, we're down 3-0. And you can see this is the one we're talking about coming up here. It's the, it's Protsenko has a beautiful forehand, but he starts to take a little bit of pace off, and then he's gonna, going out wide to give that go back.
Well, if you're going to take pace off, you certainly shouldn't blitz. And I certainly wouldn't be blitzing against a guy who's sprinting to the net that loves to volley.
Correct. No, you got to know, the wheres.
Unless you want what just happened to happen, which I'm sure Protsenko doesn't want.
No, but it's one of those now, and I do like this that you see Volclair and Protsenko are talking about, what the strategy is and what they need to do, and they said they had a much longer day getting here, and so that does not help. We've all been there. You're playing that, third match of the day, and as in the last couple hours, this is their sixth set plus the 2 sets before that. So it's you don't not get to the net as quick as you want to be. You don't even realize where you're standing sometimes. Great hands there.
I like the pattern from Humphreys and Osses-Konig to set up. Oh, wow.
That's good.
Great hands. I was just saying, I like the pattern where Humphrey sets up Osses-Konig's, backside, something off the screen where he's driving it, because that moves the ball and creates patterns that they both like.
Right. Oh, it's definitely.
I tell you what, Volclair trusts that volley of his too.
His hands are. I mean, I've played with him a few times, but his hands are just, and they don't move.
Yeah, they're soft hands, and he's always prepared. And even though Protsenko got that, he does not want to be driving that ball.
No.
It's all about time and space, Matt, because when you have Osses-Konig on the net and you're driving from inside the baseline, or I'm sorry, behind the baseline, I mean, he's just got too much time to see it.
Oh, yeah, and that's the one thing that they said, the one thing that you saw Protsenko did a great job there of getting on top of the net for that one. But you've seen it a lot. When they're volleying from off the net, they're making most of their volleys, but somebody can come forward. When those guys get right on top of the net, they're not allowing them to come forward after them. And that's, when that happens, like, boom. How many times is this going to happen?
And there again, you have both Volclair and Protsenko standing on the service line. It allows Osses-Konig to do what he's doing. Look where they're standing.
Right.
Watch.
He doesn't say a word.
Protsenko needs to slide right there and come back. No need to back up.
That's when you maybe want to take one overhead, even if he doesn't come in, and smack 1 or 2 overheads hard, just to say, hey, we would do that to you, because, that might change it up. I mean, that's a little bit, because what's the worst comes to worst, right? It's not like, it's not like Volclair and Protsenko don't mind going back. So if every once in a while, if they feel themselves, instead of hitting a push overhead every time, smack one here or there, just to kind of keep him. That might stop him from going, because when he's moving forward, he is deadly.
So look at the difference between that point when Humphreys and Osses-Konig are at the net compared to what Volclair and Protsenko were doing. You saw Osses-Konig never step back, just step to his left.
Yep.
And then Humphreys knows he's hitting the next ball. I mean,
but here's the one where Protsenko just got done hitting an overhead, and Volclair is even farther back than him. I know.
Exactly.
They're like, oh, but he's lobbing a lot, but.
Yeah, and then look. Let's see what Osses-Konig does right there. Boom! I told you. That's exactly my point. You can't. The more you hang back, the more he's going to do exactly that. And I told you early in the match that was going to be the difference.
Yep.
Can he do what he does best? And he's doing it this third set.
Yeah, their third set has been nothing but more than him just, whoop, and here they come.
See,
but that,
again,
there you go. At least they hit his overhead a little bit there, just.
There it is. Little confusion, good lob. Like that spot. It's a big point. This probably is the match. Probably is the match.
Mm-hmm. Great hands.
Great hands on both sides. I like just lobbing that.
That's a
Yep.
so.
Let's see. Let's see.
Volclair
If
looks a little. He's not
Make it-
moving it up to the net as much as he used to be.
Let's see what happens here. Is Osses be the one coming up?
Oh, great volley from around the net. Protsenko's great hands.
Come on!
Yeah, it was wonderful.
Wow.
That was great. Wow. Can't
You know what?
Can't teach hands
Nobody,
like that.
nobody did anything wrong in that point. That's a great point.
Let's pick up.
And I like how Humphreys and Osses-Konig are playing. They're playing as front runners. It is 3-love in the third set.
Yeah, this
Almost
guy,
as
they're
good.
also doing it a little
tournament.
bit different. Like there's like you see Volclair's not, you know, he's, I said, been out there for 8 sets already in hours. His matches now, you know, over, you know, his matches, you know, close, you know, over 2 hours of mental and physical strain. It's, you know, the wear and tear. It's like, you know, Protsenko, you know, if he started moving a little bit more that set, that last, you know.
Wow, great ball. I was just about to say I didn't like that last back one that Osses-Konig did, but I love the one he gets in there.
Oh.
Got to get into the point there, Chris Humphreys.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Wow.
There it is, you know. Around the net, doesn't matter. And the best part about that one also is he finally just, they're trying to hit a few more harder overheads instead of just getting blitzed on.
That's a
Bad luck. Don't think it hit it. Great forehand, it's off top of that net.
wow. That is good. It's one of the best in the game.
It's you know. It's amazing sometimes that we're sitting here watching it, and it's like these guys are so good, and then it's like a half a second maybe of a mental lapse, and you're like, holy moly.
I got it.
Good forehand.
Watch it.
Great lob. I like that. And I like the move.
Yeah. But I like the overhead looked like it was going to go there anyway, which is smart because again, if you're getting blitzed all the time, you just start hitting balls again across, you know, getting a few more to Humphreys. I don't think, you know, Humphreys hasn't been hurting them as much during this set. So, you know, maybe have him hit a few more ground strokes.
Well, you notice the blitz too from Osses comes when he lobs down the line because he doesn't have to worry about an angle behind him.
Right.
That's a very good shot by Volclair. That is not easy. Falling backwards, hitting a backhand angle volley.
No. Getting down on that volley. That's a great lob there. But that's a great overhead there. Even though he got the drive off it, he made him go from so deep. Too many times they try to go softer wide. Osses-Konig is going hard at him.
That creates the move. Yep, that's a pattern.
And then he gets to play with the spins here, and there you go.
And I like Volclair spinning the ball because it keeps Osses-Konig pinned back there. It keeps him from looking to come forward. See, look where Osses-Konig standing. He's almost on top of the baseline.
That's a great volley. Oh yeah, no, he's... The only time I've seen him back away from the baseline is to go get the ball off the screen.
Right, look at Humphreys and look where Osses-Konig is. I mean, look, there's 3 feet different in their positioning. And not only that, Osses-Konig, by playing the ball for the half volley and bounce all the time, he's speeding the point up because the ball keeps back quicker and quicker.
There it is. Kind of tempt them. Yep. Interesting to see them pull that switch. I like that. Yep. It's interesting to see it looked like a very big planned switch. So it'd be interesting to see what their thought process would be on this right now. Nice move. Good hands. Yeah, you know the more. You know this very well. It's very easy when we're sitting here going, oh, maybe you can play it, but it's much harder for 2 righties to play. Play into Humphreys' corner as much as you would say, oh, why aren't they? Some people might think that they're better off playing with one person more than the other. But for 2 righties, it is so hard to play the deuce court player.
Yeah, you just can't play in the stagger like the lefty righty.
Right.
Sure. Lefty righties as a team have a huge advantage in power.
It didn't used to be that way, right? And then all of a sudden, there's also there's more, obviously, more and more, lefties started that with more talent started playing, so it definitely made it easier because more people got to play with them. But yeah.
Well, I mean, there's more than just who's hitting the overhead. It's who's serving in the sun. What's the middle change? Everything changes.
Correct. Yeah, as you said, and you played with one for years that happened to play a lot on the outside. So people think, that's the biggest mistake people had. I thought was, well, you can't put a lefty in the ad court. And I'm like, well, why not? And they're like, because they have, you have to teach them how to play the deuce side. They have to play there. And it's like, why is it every time you take a righty, you put them in the deuce side to learn forehand screens? So yeah, it's been good get.
That's not an easy lob from there.
Wow.
That in. Wow. That's a big shot by Louis Volclair. Smooth. See if they fall right into this pattern. Just coming on the net. Yep, good. Good move to the left.
But I like how Protsenko's really looking for that forehand when you get Humphreys because he's not been beaten this quarter yet by anything. Oh, that's a little bit of a.
Well, that's the issue. I mean, you hit such a good shot 2 balls ago, and then out there.
Yeah, that was a big point. There you go. And you got a foot fault for the first time called, so Lisa doing more work than the normal.
Lisa on top of her game 3 hours into a match.
That's pretty.
That's a 10 of them right there.
If I was up there for this long right now, you guys would got who knows what I would have been telling you.
Yeah. I mean, she's A game.
Yeah.
Just so you know, Matt, I've never had a football call me in my life, so
I've never had a footfall call to me. I've, of course, never been able to, I've never got to a round that a judge has been near me, so. Oh, look at this. Nice get.
Smart by Chris Humphreys.
And then that was a very big.
Wow.
Look at this, the blitz and the smart move, and then again the I want to hit it, I shouldn't go for it as much. Yeah, it's gonna be a very interesting
Is it new ball now?
thing.
I think it's 6-3.
Fusion. In collaboration with the APTA, Fusion is the forefront of personalized gear and apparel. Backed by a team of sponsored industry experts, we provide exclusive access to high-end products from the top-tier retail brands. All posed for customize your club logo, team name, or corporate branding. Our streamlined approach guarantees a hassle-free shopping experience complemented by customer online storefronts with swift ordering. Visit gearbyfusion.com and let Fusion seamlessly weave your brand into the elite merchandise.
Good.
What's going on here? Are they having a little
Battle. Battle.
Oh.
Two battles. I've been up and down, yeah.
Looks like Volclair had to
0-4. Yeah.
leave the court for a minute.
A long time after you.
What are they talking about, Matt?
Down there, they were just talking about confusion. There more of the scores going on. Speaking of scores, it's 2-2 in the third set with Roderick, Christian, Nunez, Salazar. So, good news about the if you're tuning in now to be getting ready for to watch some platform tennis here at the Huntington Country Club Dwayne Hayden Invitational. You are at 2-3, three setters going on at a 3-2 and a 2-2. So you're in for a long night. This is just the quarterfinals over here going. We still have some semifinals to be played later tonight at some point, and a lot more fun to come.
Yeah, the APTA Tour comprised of 16 tournaments, all which are a live stream, just like this one here. And out of those 16 tournaments, there's 4 Grand Prix. We've already had 2 of them, the Chicago Charities and the Philly Cricket Classic. Detroit's coming up in late January, and then Short Hills. Those are the big ones, but APTA is doing a great job with the live streaming and the consistency of the teams that live stream these matches, and having great commentators like you, Matt.
No, it's been a blast so far making this more here. It's been, it's a sport we put a lot of time and effort and love that, it's fun watching the amount of people that are watching and things like that. It's been, matches like this is, not just fun to commentate. It's got to be fun for big forehand. Nice get by Volclair. Good push overhead there. It's eighth.
It's interesting too how the point goes fast and then it just almost resets and slows down again. The tempo changes so much.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because it seems like
so that's a good example. Slow, and then quick.
And you can see, it's one of the biggest things here is I think, you saw a little bit earlier, a few points before, the same exact shot there, and what did Humphreys do? He went up. And I think, those guys were planning and knowing that Volclair was not going to. It looks like we have a little grip change going, Something happened. Something happened that,
But think about it too. Even though that volley Osses-Konig hit was below the net, he hit it short, and it created transition because he loves to stuff volleys. That's where you're seeing different. That's not something we would teach. A volley short where someone could drive it.
Correct. You're not.
A lot of these players are starting to do this today, and it's working.
Yeah, no, it's definitely it's you play. It's a shot he. I'm not saying that you can't really teach it in a one way, but you can sit there and be like, you want to play him at your speed, your game, right? And knowing that someone like knowing that Volclair might not lob it as much as someone as somebody else, you hit that shot, praying to God that they do drive it, because if he happened to have missed that volley, it's still the right shot.
It's one of those things where he's hitting a ball that puts himself in a position of strength because he loves the volley. So he knows that ball. There it is. Yeah, he knows that ball can't be lobbed. So the next ball is going to be a volley. And if it is lobbed, so what? He'll move back to the baseline.
I like that Protsenko. At least that time, great
there it
hand.
is.
But at least he hit it hard this time, and great hand. But he was right on the net.
Well, he had no choice. I mean, it's such a quick exchange. But I think, and again, we said it early in this match, the denominator is going to be, can he do that more and more to win this third set? Because,
and so far, yeah. In a game that they lost, they were just he wasn't doing it as much, and he didn't have an opportunity as much. So you got to give Volclair and Protsenko their props. They didn't give it to him to do. That's a nice backhand right there.
There it is again. Can he do that? That is the denominator in this match. It always has been. He's the one on the court who likes to play that way. The most.
You can see here it is, the hands. You can't teach someone to jump the net, but if they know how to jump the net and they play that way, it's hard. You gotta learn. You gotta be, Not often you hear somebody yell touch 23 times after they hit the net.
Well, we talked about it. We talked about it in Chicago with the game has so much class and so much culture that you love to see what Luke just did.
Exactly. He's calling it up. It's amazing too. It's sometimes it's fun. These guys have there's a respect for each other. There's a respect for the game itself. So they're all out here with good sportsmanship on their own. They're not just nobody's out there trying to win by anything. They're playing this good overhead. But again, you saw that you were just talking about for the last 2 hours. Their staggeredness at the net is so good that they seem to be doing much better when they get that.
And then the reason I keep talking about it, Matt, is because it's how we teach for sure. And I'm talking about tempo. If I'm not worried about you jumping in front of me when I'm hitting overheads, I develop rhythm and tempo. Because I'm never hitting an overhead for the most part to be driven unless I'm Osses-Konig where I want to create transition.
Correct.
But I'm hitting it with 2 or 3 shots in advance in mind.
Yeah.
Because as you get better in paddle at the club level, the points get longer. They don't get shorter.
No, the hardest part about this sport, as you said, is correct. The better you get, the better they get. You're totally correct on that one, guy. Like, you're teaching them how to think ahead. It's,
And that's the important point of understanding who's hitting overheads. Whether you and I are playing a match, Matt, or not, if we're going to interchange who's hitting overheads, we still have our spots that we're hitting our overheads. So our job descriptions are going to change every other point because of where you're serving from. But our locations shouldn't change if that's our discipline strategy.
Correct. No, correct. It is a big, that's a big thing is, staying to a semi-script. Yeah. I like this about how they're, going Aussie right away. The one thing I think you got to, if you go back in this, sometimes when Protsenko gets that short forehand, he just needs to go a little bit more up that middle because he's both, going out wide a lot and getting him in trouble. But here's see how they started off. See if they play Humphreys a little bit more, or they're gonna keep going to Osses-Konig and. We're sitting here, Mr. Moore. If you saw this, people are telling him, what's going on in here. We just got a message in from Mr. Ray Crosta, Sugar Ray. Good to hear from him. He's, a lot of these guys don't realize he's done so much for this sport and the points and everything to get these guys to where they were. And I think pretty soon we're gonna have to start the old person's tour that a lot of us that are talking to actually playing. But yeah, he's done a great job to help this sport for the last 20 years.
Ray, miss you, buddy. Hope you and your family's well. But you're a great man.
Yeah. This seems a little bit in the third set. Yeah,
So Matt, here's what we're looking at. And
triple match point.
it is, but I think experience took over in this third set, and you saw Osses-Konig in that match. Just do what they needed to do better. So
it looks like one of the things too is they said that's why you don't want to waste energies in these matches because they're going to have to go play another match against the winner of the Nunez-Salazar, Broderick Christian. Nunez-Salazar up 5-2 now in the third set. But, you don't need to waste the mental and physical energy if you don't have to. And, that's why it's important early in these days to get your job done.
For sure. Great match.
Isn't
I wish Osses-Konig and Humphreys success in their semifinals, and great call in the match with you, Matt.
Oh, my pleasure. We also have an update Palmer Rams over Hanson McGrath earlier, and they're going to be playing the winner of the Granger Owing Dennis Frederick match. So there's a lot of good platform getting ready coming up. It's Mr. Moore, my pleasure. Too bad we're not sitting by each other, but it was awesome to talk to you, and great job playing, doing this with you.
Likewise.